Hey, Who Dat Nation, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about what is becoming, or who is becoming, one of my favorite new Saints ever. Yes, literally that exciting. Now, I'm a little biased for two reasons. One, I love his social media presence already, and two, y'all know how I am about offensive and defensive line. It's my go-to. It's what I love the most. So today we're talking about, well, you see the name there, but we actually, Saint Binktavius, right there. See, look at these type of posts. Does this not get you excited when you see a player like this interacting with the community and then also just being freaking dope? And one thing I've learned researching him, because I'll be honest, when we did his draft class, I didn't really focus a ton on him, but he is that prototypical nose. Whether you need him as a straight up zero, need him on the shade, whatever it is that you need him to do, he does. In fact, calling himself the Kansas City run defense, and they were a pretty stout one last year. Now, like with most nose tackles, if you go studying box scores, you're going to be like, well, there's nothing there. Why should I be excited? Well, besides the fact that he wants to bring Lil Wayne back to Louisiana, make him a Saints fan, and the fact that he recognizes what, Gumbo and Jambalaya are, besides those points, I think he can really contribute as a player as well for a team that fell backwards when it came to run defense and something they started to struggle at. Now, a little bit of background about our friend here. Here is his RAS score for those who are familiar. RAS, relative athletic score, something that our friend, well, we've been using him for a long time, and the NFL teams are starting to use him now, looking at his various athletic scores. Now, I will say my man is built a little bit like a Thanksgiving turkey. A lot of mass, a lot of ass, but little short arms and not the longest legs. But that's okay, because he actually uses that lower height, because he's only 6 foot and doesn't have the best reach, but he uses that to create low end leverage, which is really useful for stuffing gaps. Dad jokes are welcome here. Do love his speed and athleticism. You will see that in today's video. And you also see pretty decent three cone and short shuttle. So good relative quickness in terms of short area, as well as some pretty decent overall speed. One negative, and you can kind of see this a little bit, is explosion maybe is not the best trait of his, but still I think he makes up for it in other ways. So what we're going to do is take a look at the film. I want to remind everybody every time we do this that number one simple film study you find on YouTube is not enough to build a full scouting report on a player. You need a minimum of 200 to 300 snaps in a few different games, different situations to truly get an idea of what that player can do for your team. But hopefully we can, glean a little insight into what Mr. Saunders here can do for the New Orleans Saints leading into 2023 by taking a look at what he did last year. We're going to be taking the Tennessee Titan game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is a really interesting one for me. Obviously, Kansas City is the Super Bowl champions. You got a two-time champion that is joining the team, and lots of leadership. He's really well loved among his fellow defensive linemen, and also apparently a great trash talker, so I'm down for that. And let's just go ahead and break through. Now, number 99 is who you're looking for there. You'll be pretty easy to spot him anytime we do the end zone angle, because he's constantly, like, his go-to formation is hand on the face mask, keep his hands up. And talked about before, guns do you no good if they're stuck in the holster. So here we go on this play. Outside zone, love the recognition there, but this is a design boot by Tennessee. But what he does here, I like the attack, because they're going to be attacking with this style quite a bit throughout the day, and he attacks it in a variety of ways. This time, though, he's going to go straight ahead, try to get vertical, swim over the top of the front side, try to get to the backside, and then always keeps his eyes in the backfield. One thing I really like about him that I've noticed is he recognizes plays very quickly. That recognition, that mental processing we look for in any player, but specifically O-line, D-line, is pretty quick there. And then you see he spins out of it, and while he doesn't impact the play at all, it's still good to recognize those traits, see how he can, affect, and then there's your completed pass down the field. But that's obviously not on him. Still, you want to see those little bit of, those little traits, those little intangibles that you're looking for. Now, he did split time with other DTs and other nose tackles here, including a guy that Kansas City drafted the year before. So you're not going to see him in every play, but that's pretty normal. He saw about 40 to 50% of the snaps for Kansas City. And this one, as we get into the end zone angle, you're going to see why I really like one of those traits I was talking about before. Now, here he is in a traditional nose, and in your old school 3-4s, he would have a two-gap assignment. I doubt he's not running two-gapping here. It's just single. But you got a slight shade there where you see he's got his helmet on the left side, or his left side of the shoulder. One thing I really want you to pay attention to, remember I talked about he doesn't have the length that a lot of other guys have, but how you make up for that, containing great body control, establishing that half-man relationship, and then getting inside, and then you want to watch him peak. So with a lot of defensive tackles, the real flashy ones that people like to see, we call those 3 techs. Those are pass rushers. They're getting upfield. They're making great penetration. Whereas with a nose tackle, you're more looking, how do they manage the field? They're like the field generals of the defensive line. So watch this play here. So at the snap, he is about head up here in this angle. All right, you can see he's got inside control already. You saw that on the other angle, but you can even tell by the arms and the positioning of the center. Look at where they're at there. Kind of like that V pattern going. He's inside already, which is a good sign. We're trying to control leverage. Now, bam. That's exactly what I want to see from a nose tackle. Get inside. You can see his arms are inside. He's got control. He's establishing leverage. He's got low power, low drive. And what's his eyes doing? Find the ball. He is staring directly into the handoff, or as people like to call, I don't know, just to be confusing, the mesh point. Bam. All right. See that he's not coming this way? What do? Use that power, that leverage. Get inside. So see how he changed his positioning. He's only given up about a half-yard here, and now he's had control, and now he's breaking back to that inside A gap, contributing to the tackle. Little things like this. This is how you have success as a nose tackle. And nose tackles that are really good are the king of the combined tackle, as in they don't typically have a ton of solos. They're contributing and they're making things better for their teammates. They are, again, the field generals of the defensive line, and that's why I love them so daggone much. So anyway, another play here, not as much. I think that we're in this particular play, his assignment is a little bit more in terms of containment. And you will see nose tackles that when they get input in passing situations, their job becomes containment, as in we don't want you to really rush upfield, manage the line, and especially with a guy like Willis who can make a move, you're going to be watching and moving. So here's going to have a little bit of a, it's a weird double team. I don't even know what you would even call that. That's not same foot, same shoulder. That's a weird little whatever that is. But in that play, gets driven back a little bit. But again, I don't think that he was having or didn't have a penetration style call. It's more of a containment. So context always key in each individual play. So we're going to watch one more, and then we need to jump forward in time a little bit because, as I said, there are going to be spurts where he's not on the field. That doesn't mean he's missing entire drives, but just that, like any nose tackle, you're going to rotate in, trying to keep him there for mostly run plays. Now, I left this one in because at first glance, you might think this is a negative, but it's really not. Let me show you why. So you've got him in the A gap here. He's going to take on this double team in this zone where it's not really a double team. They're passing him off. The guard's passing him off. He does a good job moving down horizontally, but right here, I actually want to pause it. You'll notice he's getting tripped up. He actually hits the ankle of another guy and goes down. But he had really good positioning and really good strength. This ends up being a very long run to his side. So, if you're doing the analytical style of who wins, who loses, if you're not paying attention to context, you could, kind of throw him under the bus a little bit here. And I don't want to do that. So sees on this, what's going to be the play side A gap, gets passed off to the center. Where's he doing? Again, inside with those hands, eyes. He's trying to cross. That's what he's trying to do right here. But as soon as he tries to cross, runs into the leg, ends up getting barreled over. And that is part of the big long run. So don't really blame that on him, but did want to include it. Let's move on to the next set that I have marked. And we'll go to this one right here. So again, you see a lot of these big formations, whether it be single back, a power eye, and especially from a zone perspective to watch for with Tennessee. But another play with him I wanted to show because the mental processing I like for him. So this is going to be play action, but look how he reacts to it, because this is definitely a run look. And Kansas City's responding, expecting it to be a run. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the box. You're definitely expecting a run there. And then you've also got your primary nose tackle. So now his job, if it's not a run, what does he do? Adjust to the play. So little, again, slightly slow coming out of the block. We talk about maybe his explosion not being as good as some other guys, but he's small, stocky, and powerful. So good shoulder positioning on the pads, but what's he going to do? See that right there? It's little, man. It's slight. That little peek. But why is that peek important? Because it lets him see what the play is. And you'll notice he changes immediately. And we're talking about all this happening under a second. Right there. See that little peek? I'm pointing the wrong direction. See that little peek right there? He's watching the play. He now sees this is not a run. He sees his play action. So what's he do? Changes it. Now he's going into kind of a containment mode. He's letting Derrick Henry pass, not even trying to tackle him, and then get in the passing lane. See if you can disrupt it. Get a hand up. Now look, fam, you got arms that are about as long as my beard hair, and you're short. But I still respect the hell out of you for trying to get up in that pass lane and put a hand up, because you don't know if you're going to make a play. It could be a line drive that comes out low, and even his ball gets it down. I love the ability to read the play and the ability to react to it. Does he end up making anything happen? No, but these are the traits you're looking for. If you can provide this level of play, each play, you're going to help your team as a whole. Love the recognition and being able to see what's going on. All right, we'll look at another one here. Again, this is him fighting, basically going power v power. And let's look at it from this angle here. Now this one, low man always wins. He doesn't get the low man on this one. So let's get a snap in. Good hand placement, but doesn't get his butt down enough. Now, I will say the anchor is pretty solid. I do like the anchor, and I would say that he has good recovery here. Initially, because he doesn't have that low leverage, he does get a little bit of that drive back on him. But his anchor, which is something we usually talk about with offensive linemen in pass protection, anchor pretty good here to reestablish. So good hand placement, going to re-anchor. He's still peaking while he's... I love it. While he's trying to regain control of the rep, he's still trying to do his job. Love it. Recontrols. Now he's using that power. See how he sunk his butt down? Almost like you're using a drop leg technique versus a double team. He's sinking down, getting low, using that torque and that power to reestablish positioning, then split and helps take on the running back head on. So initially kind of loses it, doesn't have that same leverage, but regains it and then finds the ball carrier, helps make a play. Love that ability that you see from him. You want to see more of that from Saints interior guys. That was something that was missing. So we're going to go to our next timestamp here, which is 2015 here on our tape. We're going to skip through some things. Back to him, have him a nose. This is a new drive. And again, him kind of playing that one tech spot. All right. Please hide the ball, Willis, so I don't sit here with dead time. All right, another outside zone. This time kind of moving down horizontally, flowing down the line, gets up. And you'll recognize that pose is actually the one that we had in the image to start this. Look at that. Oh, man. Crazy. It's Inception. We come full circle. But, yeah. Let's talk about how he's attacking this run. And obviously the design of any time of wide zone, outside zone, however you want to call it, even inside zone to a point, you want to get everybody moving. You want to create holes through movement. So to attack this, you can do it a couple different ways. You can try to attack quickly and vertically, or you can trail horizontally and try to make a play that way. This time, we're going to horizontally trail. He gets on that backside A-gap, and he doesn't ever lose it and stays with it. This is trusting his guys to be in their place. So he doesn't try to cross the face. He doesn't try to just push vertically upfield. He's going to trail with it because he's backside. He knows that if he pushes up vertical, he's not really doing anything. He's reading the play. Okay, now I need to be this guy that flows down the line, but I don't want to flow in a way that I've lost leverage. He doesn't want to be giving up his inside shoulder. He doesn't want to let an offensive lineman cross his face, and that way he becomes a deterrent instead of an impactor. He's an impactor here. Goes and makes a key play. Key stop against a very, very good running back and a big running back. So little things like this, multiple ways to attack, showing off the mental processing, understanding his assignment. I think these are all things that New Orleans has missed in a nose tackle for a couple of years in terms of consistency. I really like that from him. Now, again, this is another play where he has contained, but I really like it. Doesn't get the sack, but this is one of those things I talked about. You're not always going to have a guy whose job is told, hey, I need you to get to the quarterback. Because I hear that all the time. Like, well, there's no sacks there. There's no... Where's the pressure? Well, that might not be his job. His job is not to simply pressure. His job is to contain. You don't want Willis running 25 yards. So take it on. What's he doing this whole time? Look at those eyes, man. Constantly looking around, peeking, shed. And he doesn't make the play, but he does fill the gap. And this is not a 25-yard run because a defensive tackle overcommitted, rushed interior. This is good defensive play. Love the shed, by the way. The ability to stack and shed a guy is so underrated around the league. Again, doesn't get the sack, but he will later. We'll see that in a bit. Let's keep it moving. Next play. I know this is going a little bit long, but hopefully you're enjoying it. I love watching O-line, D-line tape. It's literally my favorite stuff to watch. All right, we got to fast forward a little bit to our next clip here. Back on field. Now, he's in some of these other plays that we're skipping, but good and bad. These videos would be an hour long if we done the whole time. So there you go again. Back in that normal nose tackle position you're used to seeing him in. Slight shade again. This time, he's on the front side. Look at that. Cut back across. Love it. So when we talk about outside zone runs, and we mention this a lot in the videos, there's 3 lanes you're trying to open up. You've got the bounce, you've got the bang right up the middle, and the bend. So if you want to bend it backwards, cutting against the grain, you're trying to open up 3 different rushing lanes. Now, as a defensive lineman, you have to be cognizant of this and know how to defend that. So even though, you know, generically speaking, he's a 1-gap assignment. So his assignment is this A-gap right here. That doesn't mean you simply, well, oh well, not my job. If you know a guy's going to cut back and you understand how this zone works, you've got to follow the play with it. And I like seeing him do it here. So he's going to flow because he's front side. So he's in his gap, but what's he doing? Eyeballs, ball carrier, sees the cutback. So now he's got a tough task, man. You've got an offensive lineman flowing with momentum and leverage into your shoulder. You've got to plant and cut back and fight against that. That's tough. Exactly what it does there. Shrugs him off, gets through, and helps make the play. I like that. I like that. It's tough. It's strong play, but it's smart play. It's understanding. Like, he's filled his gap. But let's go back and fill the gap behind. And let's go back and try to make sure this play doesn't become a bigger play than it really is. And that's why he's getting so pumped up after. I love that style, and that's understanding football. Too often people limit football down to, oh, it's a kid's game. It's just power. It's not, man. It's mental. And I love a lot of the mental that I see from him last year with Kansas City. Let's look at this next one. Love the sweep. Look at that. It's another boot play, but again, he's attacking in a variety of ways. You know, using what is commonly seen as a pass rush move, using it to help fight against this run. So even though you're going to have this boot action, bam, attacking that backside, he was going to get vertical on it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let's move on to some more. If you can't tell, man, I love D-line and O-line play. I'll move on to one more. They're going to get wrapping up on this. And again, this individual video can't tell you how good an individual player is. I want to really emphasize that. You can't scout based on one game or even one YouTube video that goes 20 minutes. But watch this one. We'll talk about big man with some quickness, some tenacity. I love this one. Again, at the 1, this is going to be a play where you have play action. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the run. Play action's next. This is actually a good play, but hold on. Give me a second. The sack comes in a little bit. This is still a really good play, though. All right. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. All right. All right. Backside again. Same thing we saw before. You can either attack vertically or you can flow. Well, this time he's going to attack and then flow. Gets through. Great job. This is basically just made the whole guy whiff. So because it's OZ, that means that for an offensive lineman, you're not blocking who's in front of you. Your job is to block where you're going. So for the center, he was the front side guy. His job is to block what was in front of him. So what does Saunders do, or St. Binktavius? Well, we're not going to let you block me. All right, no, it's not. I'm not in the mood for it. Bam. Attacks that left arm, sweeps over the top. That offensive lineman's in no man's land now. That ain't good. That's not what you're looking for, fam. Now, because he's on the back side of this play, here's your running back. Now he's going to flow down. But the awesome thing is he's taken away his blocker. So now he can flow, he can go make the play. Beautiful. Also great job by the rest of the defensive line, collapsing that. Not a lot of movement for Henry to even have. But this also comes down to Saunders just having a great job in the varied ways that he attacks this run game. All right, let's move on to another play. I think this is actually the one I was getting super excited about because I like to see big men get rewarded with the plays that everybody gets obsessed with on the stat sheet. And this is exactly what you got here. Look at the movement there, man. Just never giving up on the play. And then look at the big man chase him down. Look, he is playing containment here. He is not pass rushing, right? His job is to manage his interior gaps so that that doesn't become something where you got a big 15, 20-yard run from a scary, very athletic quarterback. But you still want to make movement up the field. Now, look, he sees the quarterback move. As soon as the quarterback moves off of his throwing platform, now he knows, okay, we can collapse this a little bit. Uh-oh. Change of direction. What's he do? Change of direction. Bam. Miss sack. Opportunity for big man. Get hungry. Look at that big man explode out of it. Go and chase him down. Absolutely love it. I really have, and I know, I said this at the beginning of the video, I'm biased. I really am towards offensive linemen. I'm biased towards any type of line play, defensive lineman. I love the trench warfare. So I immediately fell in love with this guy as a player. And as I watch him, I just see a lot of things that you want to see. Good hand usage, obtaining and maintaining leverage. I love his mental processing at that field general spot of a nose tackle, which I feel like to this day doesn't get the respect the position deserves. So hopefully you enjoyed this as a Saints fan. If you're a Chiefs fan, I hate that you lost him, but hope that you love getting 2 Super Bowls with him. Maybe you can find another one in New Orleans. If you enjoyed the video, do me a huge freaking favor. Like the video. Thumbs up button helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then leave a comment. Believe it or not, all those things actually help the channel. And you are wonderful and you are amazing. Who dat? God bless. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces. That's me. We're out.